YNR full spoilers reveal Billy and Damian's secret meeting, surprises and second story behind the door. It all started when Billy Abbott, who used to be the star of Abbott Communications, decided to enter a fierce battle with big names in the media industry. But this time, he not only faced his family's traditional rival, but also a little-known character, Aristotle Dumas. Everything is gradually revealed when the secret meeting between Billy and Dumas brought surprises that not only the insiders but also the audience could not expect. The shady secret meeting. Billy tried to keep everything under wraps, but as usual, he could not escape the surveillance of Victor Newman. Victor has long been watching Billy's every move, and this time is no exception. When Billy decides to meet with Damian, a man who can provide vital information about Dumas and his connections to the Winters Corporation, things begin to escalate. Lily, who has always stood by Billy in difficult situations, has a tense meeting with Damian. Before leaving, she receives a call from Damian, who asks to meet Billy as soon as possible. Lily is worried, but Billy feels this is an opportunity to escalate the fight. Meanwhile, Nate, who already does not believe in using anyone to play both sides, objects to using Dumas as a card in this strategy. Victor's warning and Billy's response. Despite receiving a blunt warning from Victor, Billy does not back down. Does Dumas scare you? A challenging question Billy poses to Victor. But Victor's response was strategic: do yourself a favor and stay away from him. I saw what was coming and you don't want to be caught between two giants. Be smart this time, stay out of this fight. However, Victor's warning did not change Billy's mind. He seemed more determined than ever. The meeting with Dumas was not just a simple meeting, but an opportunity for Billy to prove himself and assert his position in this power struggle. Adam's intervention. While Billy still tried to run things his way, Adam Newman, Victor's son and a man with a keen eye for business strategies, had his own thoughts. He believed that his father was going about things the wrong way with Billy and Dumas. I have an idea of how you can handle Billy and Aristotle Dumas, Adam told Victor, sparking a shift in the battle. This only adds to the tension between the characters. While Adam tries to keep things under control, the power struggle between the Abbott and Newman families seems to be intensifying. Billy's actions, combined with his secret meetings, seem to be a key piece of his long-term strategy. The GCAC encounter, Billy and Victor's complicated relationship. The meeting between Billy and Victor at GCAC is more tense than ever. Victor follows Billy as he enters the cafe, not forgetting to tease him about the changes in the Abbott Communications team. There's a rumor that Phyllis quit, Victor says, referring to Billy's ex, who has left the company. Did you fire her or did she quit, like so many of your colleagues? Billy, no longer able to hold his patience, reacts violently to Victor's attack. Why do you keep picking on me and putting me down? Do you feel threatened by me? The confrontation didn't stop with the heated questions. Victor continued to press Billy, making a veiled reference to Aristotle Dumas. What's your business with Aristotle Dumas? Victor asked, sounding like he had it all figured out. I know you had a meeting scheduled and he cancelled it. Victor clearly had a vested interest in Billy's actions, and he was willing to use threats to keep things under his control. The tension and secrets revealed as the meeting between Billy and Dumas nears. Victor keeps urging Billy. If Billy tells me why he's meeting with Dumas, I can stop the flood of bad news about Abbott Communications, Victor says, showing his determination. But the big question here is whether Billy can control the situation. The relationship between Abbott Communications and Newman Media is in a very tense situation. Despite Victor's warning, Billy decides to continue meeting with Dumas. Finally, when things are about to enter a crisis phase, Billy still insists on meeting Dumas immediately. Tell Dumas that if this meeting is going to happen, it has to happen now, Billy orders, regardless of the possible consequences. Predictions for the future: will Billy and Dumas really reveal? The meeting between Billy and Dumas will certainly be a turning point in the story of the young and the restless. However, the big question remains unanswered: will viewers ever learn the true identity of Aristotle Dumas? The details surrounding this character are becoming more and more mysterious, and viewers can only continue to watch to find out the truth behind Dumas' mysterious actions. The power struggle is not only a story between two families, but also a confrontation between strategies and secrets that have not been revealed. It is certain that what Billy, Victor, and the other characters will do will create big waves in the conflicting world of the young and the restless. Kyle Abbott's weaknesses and the manipulation behind the doors. An inevitable battle in the young and the restless. Complicated family relationships, power and betrayal are always the main themes in the young and the restless. In a dramatic and tense episode, the weakness of Kyle Abbott, Jack Abbott's son, and the manipulation behind the family power struggles have begun to be revealed. All this development begins when Kyle and Clare decide to buy Adam Newman's old house, a seemingly harmless act but opens up potential dangers. Victor Newman and the power play. Victor Newman, one of the leaders of the business world in Genoa City, always tries to control every situation and grasp the weaknesses of the opponents around him. Kyle Abbott, despite being Jack's son and an important member of the Abbott family, has a weakness that Victor will not overlook: the lack of acceptance from the Newman family, especially from his father, Victor. Although Kyle has an ambitious and responsible image in the Abbott company, he cannot avoid conflicts with Victor, who always sees him as a potential rival. Nikki Newman, Victor's wife and the one who always plays an important role in balancing the relationships in the family, realizes that Clare, Kyle's lover, is hoping for a miracle in which she believes that Victor will accept Kyle and support their relationship. However, Nikki knows that this hope is extremely far-fetched and will never come true. Nikki Newman pushes Clare to face reality. Nikki, who has a sharp vision and experience in family and business relationships, notices the suffering in Clare. She is trying to find Victor's acceptance, but this seems like a pipe dream. Unlike Clare, Nikki understands that sometimes reality is too cruel and that not everyone can change the situation. In a tense conversation with Clare, Nikki will warn her that expecting Victor to accept Kyle is self-deception. She will explain that, no matter how hard she tries, Victor Newman will never see Kyle as a friend or family ally. Instead, Kyle will always be a pawn in a power game that Victor controls. "Clare, you may be living in a dream," Nikki will say, looking her straight in the eye. "Your relationship with Kyle may never have Victor's blessing. But it's important that you accept the truth, otherwise you'll just be the one who suffers." Nikki also warned about possible revenge from Victor. Those who cannot gain his approval will always face intense psychological and power struggles. And for Kyle, who has always been dominated by his father's great expectations, opposing Victor's plans could cost him dearly. Adam Newman and the impact of information. It doesn't stop there. When Adam Newman, Victor's son, hears about Kyle and Clare's plan to buy his old house, it makes him think. The old house is not only a past property of the Newman family but also a symbol of Victor's power and control over those around him. Adam, with his intelligence and sharpness, quickly realizes that this is a bold move. There may be an intention behind it. In particular, Kyle, who has always sought to assert himself within the Abbott family, now wants to buy the Newman family's assets, which may raise suspicions and resistance from Victor. Adam may be the one to start this fight when he conveys this information to his father. And when Victor hears about Kyle and Clare's intention to buy Adam's house, he cannot help but feel uneasy. In a world full of strategy and power, any move can change the situation, and this time, Kyle's involvement in the Newman family's power struggle may not be a wise decision. Billy Abbott and the Abbott family's manipulation. Not only Victor, even Billy Abbott cannot stay out of this war. Billy, although not directly involved in the Newman family's property disputes, is always ready to participate in confrontations with Kyle and the Abbott family when there is an opportunity. These battles are not simply about money or power, but also about honor and recognition in the family. Billy, with his clever plans and moves, always tries to seize opportunities that can help him regain power in the Abbott family. From taking control of Abbott Communications to pursuing personal goals, Billy always does everything he can to not fall behind. However, Kyle's attempt to buy Adam's house could be an important turning point in this confrontation. Conclusion. Can Kyle resist Victor's control? With the power struggles in the Newman and Abbott families continuing to escalate, the big question viewers are asking is whether Kyle can escape Victor Newman's control. With strained relationships, conspiracies behind family meetings, and struggles between family members, everything can change in the blink of an eye. When Claire realizes that her relationship with Kyle may never be accepted by Victor, she will be faced with a crucial choice. Continue to believe in her love or give up everything to protect herself from the manipulation of greater forces. Victor Newman will certainly not sit still. He will always find a way to control Kyle, exploiting every weakness in his hands to regain power. Will Kyle have the strength to stand up to his powerful father, or will he forever be just a pawn in the Newman family's power game? Everything will be revealed soon in the next episodes of The Young and the Restless, where the family power battles never end. Victor Newman's attack and Kyle Abbott's resistance, power strategies in The Young and the Restless. In the intrigue-filled and power-filled world of The Young and the Restless, every move, no matter how small or large, can cause a strong reaction. And in this coming Friday's episode, viewers will witness a tense and dramatic attack from Victor Newman on Kyle Abbott. This is not just a simple confrontation between two characters, but part of an extremely complex power struggle, where each action can change the outcome of the Abbott and Newman family war. Victor Newman, the power strategist Victor Newman, with his depth and experience in business and family strategies, has always been a character that makes others wary. Known as the one who controls everything, Victor has the ability to exploit the weaknesses of those around him and turn them to his advantage. While others may seem untouchable, Victor has a way of infiltrating and seizing opportunities. And in this episode, he doesn't miss the chance to attack Kyle Abbott's weaknesses. Kyle, Jack Abbott's son and one of the main characters of the Abbott family, appears confident and ambitious. However, like everyone else, he is not without weaknesses. Victor has discovered these vulnerabilities and begins to plan to exploit them. This not only erodes Kyle's trust in himself, but also increases the tension between the Abbott and Newman families. The plan to sabotage the deal between Kyle and Clare. One of the major plans that Victor is working on in this episode is to try to sabotage the deal between Kyle and Clare, specifically involving Adam Newman. Kyle and Clare, a promising couple, had planned to make a big investment that could make a breakthrough in Kyle's career. However, as usual, Victor did not let such opportunities pass without exploiting them. By targeting the deal between Kyle and Clare, Victor was looking for a way to derail their plans. He knew that if he could weaken the relationship between the two or break this deal, Kyle would feel disoriented and lose confidence in his decisions. This would make Kyle easier to manipulate and control in future negotiations, and thus, Victor would achieve his goal. However, Victor's move was not accidental. He knew that Clare and Kyle had placed a lot of hope in this deal, and if he could sabotage it, he would not only destabilize Kyle but also increase the tension between the Abbott and Newman families. Direct attack on Kyle at Jabot. Victor's attack does not stop there. As his plan to sabotage the deal between Kyle and Clare progresses, Victor also intends to target Kyle at the Abbott family's own company, Jabot. This is a move that Victor has carefully prepared. Kyle, with his important role at Jabot, will not be able to avoid Victor's influence even if he is in the protective arms of his family. Victor's attack will be carried out in a very subtle way. He will not attack openly or directly, but will manipulate situations to make Kyle face difficult decisions, forcing him to self-destruct his career. If Victor can succeed in forcing Kyle into a difficult situation at Jabot, this will weaken the Abbott family's influence in the industry and create a vacuum for the Newman family to occupy. Kyle Abbott, resist and anger at Jabot office. As things spiral into chaos, Kyle can no longer keep quiet. His anger boils over when faced with Victor's manipulations. In the Jabot office, where all the Abbott family's important decisions are made, Kyle will not be able to contain his emotions. He will seek out his father, Jack Abbott, to complain about the chaos Victor is creating. As Kyle's constant supporter and having helped him through many difficult situations, Jack will be the one Kyle turns to for comfort and advice. However, this does not mean that Jack will easily accept Kyle's reaction. The relationship between the two has always been tense, and this time, It becomes even more complicated when Jack is faced with a situation that he cannot control. As Kyle expresses his frustration and anger at what Victor is doing, Jack will have to advise his son on how to deal with this attack. Victor is a formidable opponent, Kyle, Jack will say, trying to help his son understand that the strategies Victor uses cannot always be solved by force or anger. You need to calm down and think carefully before you act. The end. Can Kyle resist Victor's attack? Victor's attack on Kyle is not simply a confrontation between two characters, but is part of a larger power struggle between the Abbott and Newman families. Every move Victor makes can change the outcome, and Kyle will have to face difficult decisions to protect himself and his family. With Jack's support and bold decisions, will Kyle be able to resist Victor's attacks and protect his relationship with Clare, or will he have to give up in this power struggle? The end of this confrontation will be an important turning point, not only for Kyle but also for the entire Abbott family. This episode promises to bring dramatic and tense details, making viewers closely follow every development to see who will be the winner in this power struggle.